Well, hello everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time today for tuning in into this partner webinar that I will be hosting with you today. It's really great to see a lot of familiar names in this attendee list. And yeah, there's been a lot going on. So, thanks for taking the time. As I said, today's topic will really be focused on sharing with you this new governance and tech model, which we're looking to build with our partners as a collaborative approach, really to leveraging technologies for family business advisors in the space. We'll be really focusing today's conversation on our new product. I'll come back to the history, to all the versions of the product we've gone through over the years, but we're quite excited to release today or in January, February, a new version of the Trusted Family application. I'll be sharing all sorts of new features, the new use cases we've seen, and also the added values for both families and our advisors. We'll be discussing also quite extensively this new collaborative approach we are looking to build with the new platform to really enable both us and you to kind of scale the practice and the work we do with families. Also, I think it's collaboration is really a kind of something that I hold at heart, and one cannot really support a family appropriately these days without collaborating with other experts, other trusted advisors. Families are becoming more and more complex, and it's so important to understand who are the networks and trusted advisors that you can collaborate with to help support your families in the right possible way. So, as I said, thanks for taking the time. If there are any questions, I believe you'll see in your panel there's a Q&A, a chat section. I'll make sure to go over your questions as I go through the demonstration and presentation. But again, if you have and if I'm not able to collect them during the presentation, I'll make sure to spare enough time at the end to go over any questions that you may have. Super. Let's get started then. So first, a bit of our journey and a bit of history about Trusted Family. Some of you know us extremely well. We've had coffees, drinks together. So, and others it's the first time. So thanks for that. So our journey basically at Trusted Family started in 2007 and 2008, where Edward Janssen, cousin from the Solvay family, and Edward Thyssen, a family member of the Aliaxis and Etex group here in Belgium, realized they needed to find a better way for them to operate as a family. And so they went ahead, started developing a platform for them to communicate with their shareholders, boards, and entities that were starting to get organized in their families. And so there's a first version that was born in 2008, and then since then there's been like 4 new iterations of that platform. And I think what we can say today in a family kind of context is we consider this new platform we're building kind of the second generation of Trusted Family. We basically have been in in two industries that have revolutionized tremendously over the past decade. One, the family office, family business, you all know, has really professionalized. Families have really professionalized, and family offices in certain regions are created every day. And on our side, well, we were also in the middle of the tech space when everything started in 2008. Mobile apps weren't really a thing. Everybody were on Blackberries trying to figure out how with their thumbs they were going to send an SMS. And today the tech has functionalities, features, and integrations that we see has evolved tremendously, which made us realize we were better off actually developing something from scratch, which is really what we started doing at the beginning of COVID. And that we're releasing now to all of our clients, migrating all of our clients, but also releasing to as a new model for us to collaborate with our partner, and more about it in this session today. So a bit of an update. So today, we work with about 180 families and family offices scattered around the world. We're in 27 different countries. We have a strong advisory and client success practice. I'll come back to that again later today, because one of the things we realize when working with families is, technology is good, but the real factor that will make a platform work well is the governance, is the policies, and it's the people behind the platform that will make the success of the platform. And so we have a client success team that's organizes client events, client connects. They organized a great session with about 40 clients of ours this week, where they were talking about how to engage the members on the platform in general, and all sorts of best practice sharing, which I think are really key to help build this community and help build this expertise and learning curves for families. And so we do a lot of those, and on each client, every client has its own platform, where there's a lot of meetings that is getting organized and a lot of content that gets uploaded. Our mission today really at Trusted Family is to improve really how families operate by leveraging technologies, right? And how families operate is very dependent on how they're structured, and therefore on the work that you do also heavily with them. There are really four main categories. One is really enabling committees, boards, family governance structures really operate to organize their meetings, to approve and sign off on meetings, to vote on resolutions, to really make sure all the information is accessible for all the committees, and to help them hold them accountable for everything that is being done in meetings there for their boards and councils, to facilitate shareholder management, right? To organize shareholder meetings, educate and raise the knowledge level of every shareholder in the business, that they be involved or not in the operations, to streamline family office operations, right? From financial views with secure vaults, to maintaining directories, centralizing documents, managing all sorts of assets for the families in a more centralized way. And then enhancing family cohesion across generation, right? Building unity, making sure that, as you transition from one generation to the next, this practice actually happens smoothly with all sorts of records, transparent communication, talking about and celebrating about the histories, keeping everybody informed about what is going on, both on the family perspective and on the business side of things. So really why we're in conversation today, it's because with the new platform we built, and we were really thinking through as we were developing it, okay, how can we actually work more closely with our trustees, with our advisors, with our wealth managers, who really are the ones working every day very closely with different stakeholders and different family members, right? And so it's a bit of a simplistic way of saying it, but I think it makes it easier to understand. But I think, the work that a lot of advisors do is, you really outline the design and the map to kind of facilitate this transition of generation. And with the technology, we kind of bring that map online to facilitate the journey. And the reason why I say it's a simple way of putting it is because I know there's a lot of overlaps between what we do with families and what you do with families in this simple sentence. But I think it gives a good understanding of where our focus is kind of lay. Really we cannot work when families not really organized or doesn't know really what is it they want to do together as a family. And once they understand and all those systems are in place, of course, there's a lot of meetings, follow-ups, action items that needs to be and tasks that needs to be managed. And that's where really, I believe, our solution comes into play. So why do we believe it makes sense to sell through our partners? I think our platform, as I said, succeeds if there's the right governance, if there was the right policies in place. I've mentioned that. It's also not about the platform, as I said, it's about the strategy that we set for the platform. It's about the vision that the family has in working together, and how that vision can actually come into play with the software and this technology. And it's also the people, right? Understanding who the chairmans are, the secretaries, the family office teams, to understand who will play a role into distributing and organizing all these meetings, and following up on all sorts of action items, and holding people accountable for all the decisions that are taken in meetings. You know, it's easy when you work in a business, but it's much less clear when you work in a family context where not everybody is it's not their full-time job. They, you know, have other family obligations, and so it's not always easy to really hold people accountable for all the tasks that are sometimes assigned, which seem to be growing more and more these days with the complexities of families. Also, every family is unique, right? We need to cater to our product to fit the methodologies, the way of working, the cultures and traditions of every family, and who knows that best than you. So that's why we feel it's quite important to work with you and to sell through our partners. And then we are in a relationship driven business at the end, and you know, families only trust if they are introduced by people who are the, you know, who have the right confidence, and that's true for you, for us. And so, you know, our clients trust us a lot, and, you know, value a lot the work we do. And I think it's very similar to yours, so might as well, you know, do mapping exercises to understand how is it we can better support our clients in helping them thrive in this transition. So what's in it for you also? So other than commission structures, which I'm always happy to discuss and to make this valuable, there's also, I think, more for families and for you kind of to gain visibility and to monitor also the progress of clients to better support and deliver your services, right? When you set up a family council or constitution, it's like, okay, how do they actually live to those values? How do they actually live and work together with those new entities that get created? Also to foster long-term collaboration, right? I think you know, succession you know, takes 10 years or 20 years. Governance is something that is a never-ending topic and continuously needs to be re-challenged, rethought at every generation, but also, you know, every once in a while to understand if the people are in the right positions, if the talking points and the subjects that are being covered are the right ones for the families, to make sure that, you know, decisions that are taken within those committees actually fall back down to the family members, to understand also why is it the family shareholders are actually investing in family council. You know, those questions come up too often, which is not normal. And I believe that having visibility on what is going on is really key here to foster this long-term collaboration and success of these platforms and families. To professionalize the flow of information, you know, your one-on-one interviews, your surveys, the forms that you send out, creating that level of transparency, which is really key. And then securing your client data, right? I think data is an asset that families need to nurture and control for future generations. And it's important for them to kind of organize it and structure it. And I think as advisors, it's really key for you to kind of, you know, educate them towards this. So with that said, I think it's maybe time for me to give you a bit of an overview of the new platform, and I'll focus it really on, you know, how it can become a working tool. Maybe may I invite you, like, as we go through this demonstration and as I give this demo, may I maybe invite you to take a moment kind of to reflect on a few questions, maybe as I go through the demo. The first one may be like, could this actually help in my relationship with my clients? And if it could help, maybe which clients would those be? Could it help also structure your work with a specific family and help professionalize some of the information flows and projects that you're ongoing with some of your clients? And maybe who would those be? Could it help with my clients' committees, with my clients' councils, with simply making them more effective? And again, who could those be? And you know, could this maybe also help create this accountability, which is really important when setting people in their different roles and within families? So I invite you to kind of reflect on those questions, because it will probably make more sense as I go through the demonstration and the platform. So let me just make sure my screen is still shared. So I believe it is. If not, feel free to let me know in the chat box. So basically, this is the landing page. We found a new way, and a new, or more, not a new way, but a more modern way to facilitate people to connect on the platform through Google or other authentication matters. And then once you arrive on this landing page, there are basically two main sections. There's everything linked to you personally as a user, right? Because it's really important to understand that as an external advisor, as a trustee, as a wealth manager, or if I'm taking it from a family perspective, as an in-law or as a shareholder, well, you will have access to different information and to different, and their permission settings is one of those first things we do when we start working with the family and before the launch, is to understand who will have access to what and how can we really tailor these permissions to suit the methodologies and ways of working as of each of our clients, right? So there is your personal space, and I'll come back to that. And then there's your personal area, and then there's all these spaces, which again will differ for every family, right? So in the case here of this family office, we have the shareholders, we have the family members, where you might include the in-laws, where you might include next, family members, once they get an email with maybe around 16 years old, to get them informed about what's going on in the business, what's going on with the family legacy, the values, and, more high level information. And then you maybe have all sorts of committees, councils, and a space is really like a group of people that needs to work and share information on specific topics, right? And I'll come back to a couple of these spaces through the demonstration. And then we have more organization setting, vault managers, and I'll come back to that also in the demonstration. So my home screen is my landing page. Pardon me. You'll see basically an overview of all the spaces that you have access to. On the top hand side, you can see the activity of each of your space. And then as you scroll down here, I can see updates about the shareholders, updates about board conversations, family reunions, etc., that get created. Again, I'll only see a space appear, or I'll only see it in my newsfeed, of course, if I have access to the space or not. Of course, we have all sorts of notifications. We have a native mobile app, so all your notifications will receive on your phone, just prompting you. We've reviewed, completed the new mobile application. So whenever you receive a notification on your phone, you just click on it, and like many other apps, it will automatically bring you to either the document that you need to sign, or the event that you need to RSVP, or whatever notification was sent to you. We've also changed. We used to have, for those who knew or have followed us on our previous version of the platform, we used to have a messaging application, which we kind of changed into a chat functionality. It's a more instantaneous and modern way of, collaborating with either a space, so you can have a chat for members who are part of a specific space. Here I see there's something new for the board, so I can click on it and I can see, all the conversations that have been happening. I can add comments, etc., and interact with all the members of the board. Or I can also interact with all the members of an event, right? Because people attending an event might not be the same people attending part of a specific space. So you might want to start communicating and having chat conversation linked to a family reunion, or linked to a board or a council for all the members that are there. Or you can just have one-on-one direct conversations with people. It's very easy. Just click on plus and you just search for the name of the person, and you can start communicating with these people individually there. So you have the chat there. We have a calendar integration and development that we built here, where you will have a calendar again for every space. So every space you have will have its specific calendar. So if I scroll down, you can see there's an investment committee, a family calendar, a shareholder calendar again, and all of these calendars can be integrated with your own personal ones, that it be Google, Outlook, Apple, whatever calendaring system you use. And if you click on one of these events, let me just click on this one, you'll be able to see the location of the event. You can add in a Zoom or a Teams link here. You can see the location of the event if it's happening in person. You can add all sorts of tags also to kind of make it easier to find and store information in the future. And I'll come back to that with the search bar, because that's when, it becomes really quite handy to archive and to find information. The more you use the platform, the more information and the more relevant the information search kind of becomes. And then you also all have the event packs, right? And I think in here something new also that you can create. It's not just a field to upload information, but you can create folders in here. You can upload files, you can create documents, you can create forms, you can even upload folders and cells. So if you have on your desktop or somewhere a folder with 10 or 15 documents. You can upload them automatically in one go. And then you have, you can vote for budgets in the forms. You can create all of these forms here. We have, maybe I can show with you kind of what we have in terms of article editor. So we have this notion of an article editor where, you can all go ahead, either the chairman, the secretary, or whatever, can go ahead and start taking notes of their conversations. We have private notes also if you want to prepare for meetings. All of these top notes that you take on the right-hand side will only be visible to you as a user and will be kept there both on your mobile, your tablets, or on the web application once you're on the document. You can have all your talking points, your notes, and we have something new, which we call action items, which is really something that you can assign, right? So you can take action items here. Basically, you can give due dates for specific action items and say to whom you're assigning what type of action items. And so these are visible. And once you just, you share them, you distribute them, you either copy the link or create an announcement, and this will publish it in the mobile apps or emails of every person who attended the meeting. But you'll also be able to see all these action items that have been assigned to you. Basically, again, under your personal space, there's something called to-dos. And here's basically an aggregate of all the action items that have been assigned to you in the meetings you've been attending, right? So here I see there's in the family space, we took a lot of work to kind of give color codes and namings for everything so that we know exactly what hat we're wearing when we're distributing what type of information, which is extremely important because the tone of voice and the impact of your message will be very different if you're communicating as a chairman or if you're communicating as an uncle and aunt in the family space, right? And that's really important. And so, you can see for all the spaces you're a member of, kind of what has been assigned to you. If you mark something as complete, it will automatically mark it as complete in the meeting minutes, getting you ready for the future ones. And you can kind of this way also overview and see for all the meetings you've had, like who's followed up on what, and relaunch people if they haven't followed up on specific action items. So Carlos, I see you're having a questions about integrations. So you can integrate the calendars with your Outlook or your Google Calendar. This way, whenever a meeting gets created within the application by the family office or the owner of a space, or I'll come back to the permission settings in a second, the information will automatically be visible in your calendars. It happens this way. It's not like on the other way around, because I see that's a question. Also, you cannot like upload create an event in your private calendars and have it visible here. It has to happen here. You have to create it on the platform with all the documents, files, Zoom links, or physical locations. Once that is set up and you create it as a draft, maybe I can show you actually how it actually works. Once you create it as a draft, you can automatically, let me just go to the family council space, for instance, events, and just show you how it works. So here you can synchronize with your calendar, or you can just go ahead and create a new event, family council meeting June 2023, whatever, you give it a time, a zone, you add your Zoom conference link here. For the moment, there's, you can add or paste the URL. It's in our roadmap. We've launched this first version where we have a strong roadmap with all sorts of functionalities. We're integrating with Zoom, we're integrating with Teams, so that you can, an owner of the platform can basically add the conferencing details of the company here, making it easier for you to upload a conference link automatically, or just add a location, click create, click update. And once it's updated here, you can see it hasn't been published yet, right? So that you can kind of complete the event. You can add agenda points, add invitees, etc. If you add agenda points, you can create documents, etc. Maybe I can show you here, because this is also something that we're looking to build with you also in our roadmap and down the line, is this concept of templates, right? Because you realize that whenever you organize a family council meeting, maybe the topics are often the same, or maybe you have a strong methodology as to how a board meeting needs to be managed, how a family council meeting needs to be managed, how a family assembly needs to be organized. And so we have this, for the moment, this button of templates where we add all sorts of templates. We added a new tool now, which is like quarterly board meeting and family council meeting agenda, which you can use, organize, reshuffle things around. But down the line, we're looking to really develop this functionality to make it more impactful for our clients and also for you, our partners. I'll just put this as a draft for now. So that's for all the calendars, the to-dos. There's this concept of Vault and Vault Manager. So this is also completely new. We realize that you have the possibility of, families basically communicate a lot with external advisors, right? They, you have external trustees, external lawyers, external financial planners, etc. And it's not always easy to kind of collect and store and organize in a systematic way the information from all the external stakeholders within a family office or a family. And so we have this concept of a vault manager where basically you can appoint external people to just be the vault manager of individual members without giving them access to a space. So let's say I create a vault for me, myself, or for me and my brothers. I think there's been a few demo platforms created here for me and my kids, for instance, and therefore I can appoint a specific vault manager to be able to upload, again, photos, videos, documents. You can add watermarks, request people to sign off on documents. All of that is already there. And basically, once you upload the file, it automatically comes to my vaults. And so I can let me just click to my personal vault here. I can see all my K1s, all my investment portfolios here that have been shared with me. I can view them, click on them. And as you upload a document, you can add if the document needs to be signed. Yeah, I see here, for instance, that there was a watermark that was added in these documents for extra security. I can block the downloads, etc., because often the information shared within specific vaults might be sometimes really quite sensitive. And so we have audit trails and track records to be able to assess if people's read and viewed all these informations. So yeah, Carlos, so for the moment, the templates cannot be created by yourself, but that is something clearly in our roadmap. We're looking to enable clients to create their own templates and enable to also have a library. Our vision is to have a library of templates available that clients could be able to use, but we still need to scope that one out and prioritize this whole library of templates. So yeah, so to-dos, vaults, and then maybe I can come back to some of these spaces. So as I said, let me maybe go to the family council space. So here I can see the activity of a space, the myth, the plannings, etc. I can see all the events and information linked to that space, all the files that are linked to that specific space. So, education committees, guidelines, and in here I can again upload anything I want. I can upload folders, I can create forms, all of that can be kind of managed there through the system. And then we have all sorts of members who are members of the family council. I think one thing that is really important for every space that we've reviewed completely also is this concept of modules, right? So for everything that is happening on the platform, you can basically tailor for every space who can do what within a space. Maybe in a family context, you want everybody to be able to upload information, to share information, to notify people, to organize meetings, etc. That might be the case for a family space. But if you're looking at it from a board perspective, potentially, you just want maybe the chairman or the secretary to be able to create events, to push announcements, or to create, folders, etc. within the system. Maybe even the members directory, in the board, you don't really need to show that information, so you can just delete the module or move the module up and down. So we've really tailored that for to help really the owners of every space have the control or not as to how they engaging want that specific space to be managed, because we have certain clients that really want it to be more collaborative versus others that want it to be more in a context to be more top down, where there's more control over what information gets uploaded, what information gets pushed to the users, and so on and so forth. So notifications also very much linked to this. And then you have all sorts of logs and activity where you can see who's viewed what in every space, how they've been involved, and you can manage the access and roles, right? You can basically have owners who are the people who can delete content, manage members, etc., or you have just individual users of the space. I see that there are a lot of questions asking. I don't want to, so let me maybe, thanks for all those great questions. I'll be answering them and make sure to spare some time at the end just so I can continue the flow of this demonstration. Yeah, so that's that, you know, the family space might be more focused on legacy, history, etc., albums, and versus the board might be more about, you know, making sure the KPIs there, meeting agenda, port packs, etc., all there and visible. So something also really new that we wanted to bring to the platform is how can we actually better work with you. And so we have this concept really that we call switch account. I won't do it now because if I click on this, I have access to many other, you know, client platforms and others, but happy to demonstrate it in another time. And I would need to just connect under another entity. But basically this, when I click on switch account, it will display all the client platforms that have access to it. It enables me to kind of jump from one client platform to another, right? So let's say, you know, and I know that a few of you are in the line that have conversations with, you work with 5, 6, 10, 15 different families. Well, basically you would create and customize an own URL, the design, etc., for each specific client to create the sense of belonging. I think it's really important. We actually had a discussion with all of our clients in our TF Connect session where we were talking about how to create this family identity. You know, companies, they work a lot on their brand identity, their colors, their logos, but we believe in a certain case, it's also really important for the family to go down that path. And so you can create basically a platform for each family, tailor it for that one specific family. And then whenever you have a notification on your phone, you'll automatically be redirected to the right platform. And then you can jump from one platform to the other very seamlessly by just clicking on the switch account, and it will pop that open. And then what I wanted to share here is like you have control. Like one of the things here we wanted to do is also like we don't want to us trusted family be the bottlenecks into creating platforms, managing platforms, structuring platforms, etc. We wanted to give this autonomy to all of our partners and advisors, and so you can really have access to everything. You can create own platforms by just clicking on a button. You can just go ahead and change the design, upload new images, change the color themes, light. We've also have a couple templates here that you can play around with, you know, to help kind of you customize the look and feel to reach to sort the identity. You can add the logo yourself of the family directly here into the setting. So yeah, I think you know, if you have any questions on the demo, I can come back to it later, but I think I do want to give enough time to talk about the partnership also model that we're looking to build, and how that is actually how that actually looks like. And so, yeah, before jumping there, there's one point around security. I mean, of course, it's paramount, and it's something that has been reviewed completely also with this new version. There are 3 layers. There's this concept of confidentiality, integrity, compliance. Confidentiality being that, you know, well, the client and you are kind of the owners of the platforms. There's 2-factor authentication. There's all sorts of privileges and permission settings that have been managed both to connect to the platform and within even every space, there's kind of permission and privileges that have been developed there. There's also this, for us to ensure the integrity of the data, right? There's malware and virus scanning. There's encryption that is on transit between your servers and the platform and at rest. There's also data on the database level with the master key per client, etc. We have daily backups that are being done. So that's really more from an integrity of the data perspective. And then there's compliance, which is another really important factor, right? There's been a lot of new norms that have been created. Of course, GDPR, that's not necessarily new, but it's something that we need to take into consideration. There's this concept of NIST, which is a cybersecurity framework that exists in the tech industry today. There's penetration tests that we do and many more. So if security is a topic, you know, we have a security committee that meets on a monthly basis, and you know, that can go into way more details around security, the frameworks and technologies that we use to ensure the integrity, compliance, and confidentiality of our platforms. So more on the partnership strategy now. So I think there are basically 2 phases that I see working really well with our advisors. And I think it's like in any relationship, you know, you want to start slowly and then progressively evolve in your relationship and trust the relationship as you grow with the person, right? And that's kind of the same mindset I have here with the platform, where I believe the first thing we do, depending, I mean, some in this call are advanced, maybe are in phase 2, and I'll come back to that, and some are in phase 1. Phase 1, what I really recommend, if you've never worked with one of our clients and you're learning about Trusted Family kind of today, I really recommend to kind of, let's work together based on the demos and the questions that I have hopefully helped understand how it could really tailor and work for your respective clients. Like, how can we first understand the needs of one specific clients, do this exercise of kind of account mapping to understand, okay, the family, their challenges, their needs, the projects and the works that you've done with them, so that we can really understand how can we tailor the platform. We can even create a demo platform and have you present or us present together with the family to really understand that to really showcase that we understand their needs and that we're bringing us to kind of a solution that will hopefully support them in solving some of their challenges. So that's kind of linked to defining the right story, right? Is the right story talking about governance? Is the right story talking about, maybe a family constitution or transitioning from one generation to the next? So all these stories are important for us in this account mapping strategy and process to understand and align, okay, where do we put the priority with regards to the platform, right? Is it going to be more on the family side of things, or is it going to be more on the boards or corporate or governance side of things? And then, yeah, we implement the platform, we launch it, then we evaluate, right? And that's kind of what I suggest. I think it's always healthier to start with first client case, get it up and running, discuss it together, tailor it, and see how you will be involved, how we will be involved, which members of the families or family office or secretaries will be involved, to kind of map that out and make sure we deliver a successful journey for the customer here and the family here, because that's what we all thrive to at the end of the day. And then once this has been a success, why is this not working anymore? Oh, here we go. Once this has been a success, and once we've already worked with the client together, there's this other project that we're rolling actually out now, which is really more about having our platform becoming kind of the working tool for the work that you do with families, right? To really integrate Trusted Family into your as a software that you use for your projects, as you would use, I don't know, Trello maybe for project management for one of your system, while here would be more of a holistic approach where you can deliver, organize meetings, sign off on information or send out forms, and really collaborate in a more professional way with all of your clients, right? And so for that, well, of course, there needs to be some sort of partnership agreements that needs to be signed amongst us. And this really will vary depending on the number of clients that you manage on an annual basis, to kind of map that out to understand, okay, how many platforms we'll be setting up, and to basically create a process, which is what I've been defining here as this process mapping, to define, okay, how will it be when you sign up a new client? How will that work with us, and how will that work with you? How can we also train you and train the advisors that are part of your teams to actually streamline and make this really an easy way for you to roll out platforms for every new customers, right? And so that is that work stream here that is really important. And so I see there are some questions around the pricing, and it's a really good one and an important one. So depending on the methodology in the phase 1 and the phase 2, there are some differences, right? So for phase 1, basically we charge an annual fee for our customers. So it's basically the same as if we're selling to one platform, so one family, and we basically have what we call a tier-based pricing strategy there, which basically the fees varies depending on the usage and the features kind of the family has on the platform. And we have 3 different categories. There's first a basic plan that starts at 10,000 euros. There's what we call the legacy family that will use functionalities like more social features, newsletters, the family tree for being an example, that are looking more to collaborate more on the platform and less for decision making. That's what we call the legacy family plan. That's at 15,000. And then we have a professional family office plan, which is really for professional family offices, which says at 20K. And I think here the important message here is for us to kind of understand, okay, what are the key functionalities? How structured is the family? You know, we have families which have only 5 members, but they have a very strong and professional family office team, and they really have a lot of external stakeholders and advisors, and therefore they would go for the professional family office plan. And then we have others which are, you know, very large families with sometimes dozens, hundreds of members, but that really just uses it for, you know, to just share information, and that might either go for the basic plan or the legacy plan. So it's not really dependent on the number of users, it's more on how much features are actually required, and to kind of cater that so that the platform can also grow with the usage and the needs of the family, right? They can start simple and then professionalize as they grow. So that's basically when we sell directly one-on-one with clients. And then there's this more phase 2 approach, which is integrating our platform into your methodology. And I 100% agree, like this does not need to come at a cost for our partners. It needs to become as a tool that can really help support the family. So how we've seen this work and working for now, and again, this depends on the number of clients that you manage, but our strategy here is to basically to have kind of a free platform that you can use for your clients for a duration of 1 year, to kind of get the platform running, get this methodology up and running, help the design framework, and help you kind of operate with the family. There is a fee that needs to be charged because there's a lot of work on our side, but it's more come from an advisory perspective, and you wouldn't be paying for the platform, but you would be paying more for kind of how much support is needed for us to kind of set the platform up and running, train your advisory teams, etc. And so that really depends. I cannot really give you a price. It depends on how many clients that you work with on an annual basis, and based on that we can have the conversation, and I'll happy to discuss that more one-on-one with you afterwards, to kind of understand how complex your work is with families, the types of missions you typically have, a number of families you typically run. And so that's more the advisory and support price there. And then after 1 year, right, what we're hoping here is, like, after the 1 year, the platform is a success, the family sees the value, it's structured appropriately. Coming back to why we believe this is the right model is because for us, for a platform to work well, it needs to have the right structure. That it will be done because they will have worked closely with you in helping setting up the platform. And then after 1 year, then basically we need to sign the partnership and agreement and the contract with the customer, because their data needs to then belong to the customer. And there the pricing fees will come into play as we had discussed for model 1. So that is kind of the methodology I see for model 2, so that you can use it as a working tool, and then once it's launched after 1 year and the family kind of operates by themselves, they will have you'll be able to keep and having visibility and play different roles as you still do today with many of your customers, right? So yeah, so that was a very good questions, and I can share all sorts of information with you afterwards on that. I think so. So if you want to reach out for one, I mean, you have probably all here our contact details, but feel free to take these as notes. I think there's been a lot of questions, so let me try to answer to a few of them here also. So there's another question, like, does Watermark have the names of the people that is viewing or downloading the document? 100%. So if I go back basically to the platform, maybe I can quickly connect. But yeah, indeed, the whenever you add a watermark on a document, I'll just open this one. Hopefully it will have it there too. Oh no, can I quickly create it? Let me audit logs. So you can see the audit logs, the rule. Yeah, I can add a watermark and I'll prevent downloads. Let me quickly do that. So here, like, there was a watermark, so you can see the IP address here and my email address, because I'm connecting as me, the user on this platform. So that's here. I cannot download the document anymore here. And then here there's something new, which is called this electronic signature. So one person still needs to sign it. I can see who signed the document, and I can see actually all the logs linked to one document, which is actually really important for certain files that get shared, right? So so that is really important. Send a reminder. Okay, I see that this also we sent electronic signature. I think until everybody signed it, I don't think I can see it, or maybe I can see it. So I can set a reminder because this person just hasn't signed it, and this will basically ping the user to sign the information here. So yeah, so that's to answer your questions on the watermark. Documents. So will we be able to, this is a really good question and one that came a few times. So will we be able to invite guests, meaning give access to an external person to a certain folder document, either indefinitely or temporarily? So the answer is yes and no. Yes, it's possible in the Vault manager. So in the Vault, you can basically give access to someone just to being the Vault manager, and he or she can basically upload information for individual members. But we have discussed it several times, and it's in our reflections that we're looking to with the product team. We discussed it not too long ago with our product manager. Is like sometimes for a meeting you want to invite an external member, and that you don't want to give him or her access to that entire space. It's something that we know. It's something that we'll be building, but it's not there yet. So I'm not sure who was asking that question, but like, we have a public roadmap with all sorts of features and functionalities that we'll be developing this quarter, and with the release date, etc. We really wanted to create as much transparency there as we were developing this platform, and so happy to also share this roadmap with you so that you have visibility as to what are those different features that are important for you, and that will be coming. I think one of the sprints that we're going to work on in oh man, it's almost Q3 now, I guess, with July coming up. A bit frightening, but it is the case. So basically the new sprint that is coming up for Q3 is all around, one of them is kind of helping find dates for meetings. I'm going to use the word doodle, but I hate it because there's also certain flaws to that features or application also, but it's basically to help find a better way to find dates for specific meetings and not just give a meeting date, right? And so that's one of those features that we'll be working on with this sprint. So happy to share this roadmap with you afterwards. How far along is your roadmap in the electronic signature? So that is being launched now. So so electronic signatures is already launched into the system. You'll see there's a little there's a little beacon or whatever you can call it here to show. This means that it's basically an experimental functionality. It's already launched, we can already use it, and we're basically, the reason why there's a little that says experimental is because we're basically, as any features that we release on the platform, we're going to release it, collect feedback, and then iterate and improve on it in a next sprint. And so basically this is why there's this experimental test here, but you can already implement electronic signatures. You're editing desktop, there's no signature form, so this is something, so I need to draw, sign, etc., or I can just type in upload it, change, or upload signature here, create, and you can start assigning signatures to people. So all of that functionality is already there, operating on the platform. The website states the signatures are not available yet. So I'm not sure where you saw that, but yeah, as I said, it's here, and we're finalizing. I think there's some changes that are happening in the coming weeks, but I think it's already there. It's already being used by our customers today, if that answers your question. Yeah, there's another one around security, the technology, etc. we use. I think there's a lot of very technical questions here. Let me maybe just copy these questions and take it down. I think I have a security overview I'll share with you here, Frank. So I'll make sure to collect your data and to get back to you. I think all of your questions you have there, we have an overview of our approach to security. I'll make sure to distribute that, to make that available so that you can have a better visibility really on the features and how we actually develop the code we use, because there is not just one code that we use. And on the question as to where our data is stored, so we have basically different locations. We basically have it's called Ocean. I should know this by now. We've changed a lot. basically, yeah, we use softwares like one of which there's one in Dublin and another one in Germany, where there are 24-hour backup systems happening there. But we've also built the system in a way that down the line we'll be able to also cater to the needs of our clients. So if our clients don't want their information to be hosted outside a specific country or a specific region, we'll be able to down the line be able to provide that feature. So it's built that way. It's not already available that way, but it's been built that way. Because yeah, it's important for certain of our customers. So as I said, we're in a phase now where we're building the platform, we're migrating all of our clients. We have a strong roadmap, but I think the platform can already do a lot today to really be able to professionalize a lot of the working and methodologies of our customers. So hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, as I said, like if you want, like please reach out. Happy to discuss those two phases and methodologies and partnership models together. Happy to give more visibility about pricing. Happy to discuss a family and to set up a platform for us to kind of tailor and work and understand how is it to best present to a family. I really hope this was interesting. If you've seen us and seen the previous versions, I do hope you see the reason for us to kind of go down this new path, because I think it's as I said, it's the second generation of Trusted Family today. The second generation comes always with a lot of changes and challenging the first generation. So I think that's really what we're trying to do now with the platform. We're looking to integrate also more and more with third-party providers down the line. And so we have a new product manager. We have a new CEO also. I should have maybe announced it at the beginning of this conference, but Edward Thiessen, who was our co-founder and CEO for many years, has actually stepped down. It was important for him to start taking some me time, and quite happy to, and would be also happy to introduce you to our first new CEO. His name is Edgar de Colombier. He's from France, but moving to Belgium soon. Yeah, happy to introduce you to him if you want to have more thorough conversation with us. Happy to, he's really open. Comes from a tech background, so really understand how we can bring the second generation of the company to the next level. So quite excited by that. And yeah, I'll wish him a lot of luck also, and hopefully a lot of success. But yeah, so thanks for your time. And please do reach out to continue our conversations. Have a great day, have a great evening, and looking forward to catching up soon.